Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when and where you're viewing this. My name is Mike. I am the Crypto Liberal. Thanks for joining me again today. Haven't been on for a few days because, frankly, nothing's happened. And I haven't got on since Sunday night when we dollar cost averaged back into ADA, into Ethereum, into Bitcoin, and all to prove our hypothesis that new money invested today into ADA will outperform Ethereum and Bitcoin by the end of the year, a year from now, 5 years from now. Any new money put into Ethereum today will outperform Bitcoin by those same time frames. And right, we've been right. Exactly, we've been nailing it since for 15 weeks on this channel. That's been my hypothesis, and we prove it by dollar cost averaging and tracking that portfolio. And how's that looking? How's that portfolio looking, right? Well, ADA and Ethereum are outperforming Bitcoin. Ethereum's got the lead on ADA right now, but we're still five months till the end of the year. ADA is going to catch up, in my opinion. And today, ADA had a better day than both Bitcoin and Ethereum. The new day just started, so those numbers don't reflect what happened on Wednesday, but Wednesday is in the books, and ADA had a better day than Ethereum and Bitcoin. And Bitcoin isn't doing so hot. Just like I said on Sunday, don't get excited about Bitcoin. Let's just see what I said on Sunday, right? Let's check that out.
Because, right, I said it was going to be essentially 50-50 whether we break support or break resistance. Well, we broke resistance. Let's look at Bitcoin. So on Friday, right? Friday we finally broke this red line of resistance we've been talking about for months, right? We got rejected here on July 30th, again got rejected on August 8th, and now we got rejected all the way up until Friday. Friday we broke it. But you know what? I told you not to get excited about Bitcoin yet. And I've showed you on this channel the multitudes of people who are saying we're going to 28, we're going to 30, we're going to 29, 35, 40. They're all excited. They're all telling you to go to their link and send your crypto in exchange and trade on leverage because we're going up. Well, this is the most unconvincing break of resistance I've ever seen. And if I had an opinion, well, I do have an opinion. So everybody has an opinion, right? If I had a prediction, I still think this break of resistance is completely unconvincing to me. So I don't know that we're going to go to 28. I don't know that we're going to go to 29. I still think, and I've been saying this for...
Okay, all right. I told you that was an unconvincing break of resistance, and now we have new data. And that line, right? That line that red line of resistance I had on there goes back like almost 2 years at this point. But now that we're at it again, we're at that resistance point, right? You can start redrawing the line or rejiggering it based on the new data that's coming. And so look at how I've adjusted this line. Now, I used to have it. I mean, it used to be. Let's see if I can get it here. It used to be like down here, right about here. And it looked like we broke it. Well, now I've adjusted it because I've always said, that red line. Look at that red line, okay? I always said on this channel, go back and watch my prior videos, that red line is a general area. A general area. It's not $1 figure, because the red line is like a single dollar figure as it goes up or comes down, as it's moving down and to the right. It represents $1 figure, one specific dollar figure, right? To the penny, pretty much. Well, that chart that I'm showing is the Coinbase chart, and every exchange has different numbers, right? So that dollar figure on Coinbase might be $100 higher on Bitfinex, or $100 lower on Kraken, or whatever it is, right? So it's a range. You can't look at it as an absolute single dollar figure. So I've always said that it's a range. You got to look at it as more of a range, that red line. Maybe $100 up, $100 down. So as new data comes in, you can adjust that red line and look at this, because really adjusting it a little bit hasn't impacted it at all, right? So let's go back to in June when we were thinking that line was going to act as support, right? We're pretty much right on that line still. Okay, so then you go back further. Let's go back here, right on that line, but then you go back further, right? It's still holding a support there. That line is still holding a support there, right? Held as it was resistance here, right? So it was holding as support here. I mean, we could shrink this up a little bit. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Shrink this up a little bit. And you can see, right? It's support back here, a little bit of resistance here. So this dollar figure, or this middle red line, look at it. I mean, it's still acting perfectly as support and resistance going back 2 years. So, as I said on Sunday in that video I just played, do not get excited about Bitcoin yet. And you shouldn't be, right? That line is still essentially holding as resistance. I told you it was an unconvincing break of resistance. Now that we have some new data in, we can kind of rejigger that line and accurately reflect where that resistance is based on 2 years of prior data. So we are still we still haven't broken resistance, in my opinion. Now, some people will say that's cheating. I don't think so, right? New data, and it hasn't really violated any of our prior supports and resistances that we've been talking about on this channel for 15 weeks. That red line is still valid, going back 2 years practically. So it isn't violating any prior information that we've discussed on this channel. And with the new data from the past week, right? It all tracks beautifully still. So we still have a long way to go until Bitcoin is bullish again. And I'm sticking to that, right? So I still say that that's our resistance line now. Now we're heading back down to the blue line. Will we bounce on that blue line? Maybe. I mean, that you can see that blue line is perfect. Support here, resistance back here. So that blue line is going to be key. It's not as strong of resistance or support as this resistance is strong, which makes me, or tends to make me believe, that if the blue line doesn't hold, I wouldn't be as surprised as the red line breaking, which is why I've always said, I'm more inclined to see us go down a little bit first. More, I said 52.48 that support would break before resistance. And I'm kind of still sticking to that. I still think lower prices, that blue line right now, what was it at? It's at 22.5. So I still think going below 22.5 is more likely right now than breaking that red line of resistance. And I've been sticking to that. I've been telling you that for months, or ever since we broke the blue line, right? I've been more inclined to say we're still going to go to lower prices, whether that's revisiting the absolute lows of 17,000 something, or going below 20, or just below 22.5. I still think that's more likely than breaking the red line of resistance. So far, we're tracking that pretty well. So, and I just wanted to talk about real briefly about our other five alts, right? We just talked about ADA and Ethereum. They're killing Bitcoin ever since we've been talking about it on this channel, right? 15 weeks. We put $100 into each of these for 15 weeks straight. And the only ones up against the US dollar are ADA and Ethereum. And you can see ADA and Ethereum are both beating Bitcoin, as I've said from day one on this channel. But those aren't the only ones that are beating Bitcoin, right? So I've been saying dollar cost averaging into those is the best bet for 15 weeks. It's proven right. But on top of that, I brought you Ethereum at the absolute low, its chart at the absolute low versus Bitcoin, and you've made if you took that trade with me, you made over 50% in that trade. ADA, I've brought to you at the absolute low versus Bitcoin, and that's up 15, 18, 20%, somewhere in there. Matic, Polygon, right? I brought that to this channel at the absolute low versus Bitcoin, and that was up at one point 45-50% versus Bitcoin. And same with Polkadot, and same with what's Aave, right? I brought all of those to you pretty much at the absolute lows versus Bitcoin, and they're all beating Bitcoin, anywhere from like 13% to 50-something%, right? So I just want to visit one of them today, because I still think what we've been talking about is going to be accurate. So it's ETH chart versus Bitcoin, because this has gone up really the most of any of my trades. It was over 50%, right? So, and we look at the Coinbase chart again and the weekly chart. So this wasn't a short-term trade, but I brought it to you right at the absolute bottom. I brought it to you right here when we hit this red line first time, when one Ethereum was worth 0.052 Bitcoin, right? Perfect trade, the absolute perfect trade. And our target was always this upper blue line. And I got out just before that upper blue line at like a 45% profit. Now, I thought that blue line would hold as resistance. It didn't, right? Ethereum had a lot of run in it and it broke it. But now we're starting to see maybe a chink in the armor. Now that we've got past that blue line, I'm still thinking in the end we come back down and visit this red line again, but I'm thinking it's going to be more like this. See, I mean, we had such a great run right here, right? Back here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 8 weeks we were green, so pretty much straight up. In 8, if you go back to this one, right, 8 out of 9 weeks were green. Well, that's kind of what's happened here, right? We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8 out of 9 weeks green. I mean, it's the same situation with kind of a, back here we had a kind of a big blow off top where we went from, approximately 0.75 Bitcoin to approximately 0.85 Bitcoin, right? So back here, and then if you go back here, it's kind of almost a blow off top, not as big of a jump, but from 0.72 or 73 Bitcoin all the way up to 0.8 Bitcoin. So not quite as big of a jump, but still, what happened back here, right, is we went up, and then as soon as we started coming back to one, we came back down hard and fast. Well, I'm anticipating that's what's going to happen here, right? I anticipate this blue line now that was resistance is not going to hold its support. I'm thinking we do come back down and test this red line. At that point, I'm going to jump back in, right? Right now, my Ethereum, my trading Ethereum that I got out of Bitcoin and went into Ethereum and got a 45% gain in just 8 weeks. Just showed you 8 weeks versus Bitcoin. 45% gain versus Bitcoin. It was bigger versus the US dollar, right? Because Bitcoin was up during that time, but Ethereum was up 45% more. So I took that. I'm still holding in cash right now, or stable coin, and I will deploy that back into Ethereum if we revisit that red line. Right now, I haven't done anything with that. I'm just kind of holding and waiting for those lower prices because I think they're coming. I've been saying for weeks at this point, right? Don't trust this Bitcoin rally. Don't trust this Bitcoin rally. Even though we got past that resistance line that we were tracking, don't trust it. Whoops, BTC versus USD, and we're looking for Coinbase, and we're going back to the daily. So don't trust that rally that we've been in, and let's see what happens. But so far we've pretty much nailed everything on this channel, right? We talked about that resistance line, and when we did rally past it a little bit, I told you it was unconvincing. Expect lower. Well, here we are. We're back. Even if I had left that resistance line alone, we'd be below it right now. I rejiggered it just a little bit based on the new data. We're well below it now. So that resistance line is still valid. We're still below it. And everybody that's been telling you on crypto Twitter and crypto YouTube to trade on leverage because we're going to 28,000, 30,000, 35,000. There were tons of them. I showed you several of them, 5, 6, 7 of them on a video last week. And practically all of them telling you to send your money to an exchange, send your crypto to an exchange and trade on leverage so that they could get a kickback. And I told you not to do it because we were at resistance. And these people were basically trying to screw you over. And what's happened, right? We got rejected at resistance. And if you had followed their advice, your trade is in jeopardy if you're on a high leverage trade right now. So hope you didn't do it. Let's wait for lower prices because I have a feeling they're coming. That's really all I have for today, right? 5 for 5 on our alt trades. We're trading Bitcoin like spot on at this point. So you might as well help me spread the word. Help me spread the word. Give me a like, give me a subscribe, and hit that bell notification so you know when I'm putting out new videos. Follow me on Twitter at crypto_liberal, where I update a little bit more. Haven't been lately because it hasn't been very exciting, right? Haven't gotten excited. There's no reason to get excited about Bitcoin. I told you there's no reason to get excited about Bitcoin, and it's proven true, right? But our alts are still killing it. So that's all. Hope you're having a great night. My name is Mike. I'm the Crypto Liberal. We'll talk more tomorrow. Good night.